All right, we got audio, we got video. Let's do it. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Daniel, why is the lighting different? Well, I'm actually really happy to answer that. For the first time, I was really excited to watch a next episode of The Wheel of Time. I'm pumped. I'm really enjoying this season so far. And I don't seem to be the only one, because this season currently has over a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. Granted, Rotten Tomatoes is probably the worst website to go to judge the caliber of something, but there also seems to be just a general consensus floating around online that this is definitely an upgrade. And judging by the first two episodes, I completely agree. Now, I have to say something that does not please me to say, and that is I am very grateful that The Wheel of Time was not adapted by Netflix, because if it was, we all know it would have been canceled after season 1 wasn't immediately a mega success. And because Amazon overinvests and is unwilling to cancel things, we are now getting a third season, and the show might be finding its feet. And that's awesome. And I feel so vindicated, because since season 1, I've been making the comparison to other shows that had rough early seasons but got great, and I am hoping that feeling of vindication sticks with me all the way to the finale of this season, because the finale is where we have been struggling with this show. But without any further ado, let us go ahead and begin our watch along for episode 3, the one that, despite my actual ability to avoid spoilers for these first 3 episodes, many people are telling me is actually the strongest. Before we get into this, Amazon, this is transformative. There are plenty of other channels that are going to do exactly what I'm doing to specifically even The Wheel of Time. Heck, look over at Everyday Word I Can't Say. Great content, transformative, reactionary. This qualifies under fair use. I'm only using enough footage to give context for what I am talking about. Thank you. Hello? I said go next episode. Okay, I am going to make a little bit of a rant now. Amazon Prime is a terrible streaming service on the technical level. The amount of times the screen is just blacked out like you've seen and other issues has been more than one hand. So I genuinely mean what I said. I was so excited that despite it being pretty darn late right now, I couldn't wait. And I'm going to be recording this later because I'm having fun. And that's all I really ask from my shows. Go away. This is the other thing. The thing doesn't go away. Gabriel. Oh! We're doing the reveal on Gabriel early.
I wasn't sure you'd come.
Okay. Yeah, that was the big thing I was talking about in the last episode recap, where I didn't want to spoil it for people who hadn't read the books. Gabriel is one of the Forsaken, which is why everyone, when they meet him, is just like, huh, Gabriel, what a guy. That guy always bringing baby back ribs to the BBQ. Love that dude. Which is why I was kind of surprised we didn't see Morghese was already under Gabriel's possession when she ordered the killing of that kid in their rise to the throne, but that couldn't make sense because Gabriel would still be in the Forsaken prison. So it's just kind of like a whoa moment, but that's just my thoughts. The vibe I got in the last episode, he's planting false memories to make people enjoy him more.
I knew you would.
Samaya.
You never miss a chance to prattle and prance about.
Is that lipstick? A queen? In your bed already, Raven? You've only been free a month.
According to her and to anyone who meets us, we've been hopelessly in love for more than a decade.
Vindication again.
You always were an artist with compulsion.
You can sniff each other's arses later. Where's the Dragonland fear?
We have more immediate problems than Randall saw.
Randall. You didn't learn your lesson last time, did you? You were so in love with Luz there, and you'd have stretched out at his feet if he'd said, Rug.
Did none of us learn our lesson last time? Now, why did you bring us here?
Mogedion.
Are we flies to be scared of a little spider?
They're doing a good job with Forsaken casting. I'm getting a good personality vibe for each one. The inclusion of accents, nice. And judging from the subtitles we're seeing here, being Nablus is brought up, which I'll hold off on explaining for book reasons in case they do as well. I just hope the realization of Forsaken continues. It's going to be a bit concerning how certain Forsaken are handled because they were handled in the first book and they were not handled in the first season. So are they just going to be done away with or just introduced as mini bosses? I'm not sure.
The only way she'll ever be neighbours is if we're all dead.
If you're so strong, why isn't our great lord speaking to you?
The proposal is an alliance, then. To take out Mogadia. Grendel and Semirag. They send their regards, by the way. They were a bit hurt you didn't invite them to this little reunion.
Think about what I'm saying. You know it makes sense.
They are coming across a little, like, 5% hot topic. I don't just 5%. It's a droplet. It's not too much. It's just, it's there. Grendel Semirag, I feel like, would he have kept that to himself or just put it out in the open and be like, yeah, I got alliance. I got friends. I got other options. I'm not with you right now. I could be with other people, except come on. We all want to be with Lanfear. That's not even a question. I do like the through a gateway. That just feels a little sassy. I like the little sass. Mwah. It's good. Oh, wait. Gateways. Those are good gateways. I like that. Yeah, that's a cool effect for him. I like that it kind of ripples the air. Solid.
A coward.
She said you were smart too.
You seemed like you believed her when she said I'd kill you. Obvious playing the same game she did last time. But not me. I don't want to end up in someone's cage for 3,000 years.
That was a little unsettling. It was just a good enough representation of the Forsaken. I don't have a whole lot of super positive to say about it. I don't have a whole lot of negative. I can't recall if that's the first time we've seen gateways, but it's the first time it's like really stuck in my head, and I enjoyed them. Little pulsating holes in the air, a little donutty. I would say just in terms of impressions, ranking the Forsaken now, not including a Shamal, you died.
You disappoint me.
We're going to go Lanfear 1.
Win.
Easy.
Perfect.
Then Ravine. His Gabriel has just been great. Then I'm going to go Mogideon, mainly because that's still in the good territory. I think some people are liking that creep vibe a bit more than me. It's the most hot topic infused. And then Samael, he seemed a little too angry. Calm down. I get you're Forsaken, but stop snarling at people. Maybe it's the scar doing it, but he seemed a little too mad, a little bulldoggy.
Black Ajah, captured at great cost by the Amelin herself. Inside their minds are the answers to where the rest of their sisters have gone. The Amelin believes you two might make more progress than we have.
We have an advantage you don't. I said I cannot lie.
I actually just, for book correction and praise, if you look into cop tactics, which you should for interrogations, they do lie. They will lie to you. And that is a really good way to get information out of people, especially if you have two parties involved in a crime. You don't like directly make, like in the movies, make it like obvious, but you can do all kinds of stuff. Second, changes from the book. And this is something I don't like in the show so far. This happens in Tyr originally in the books. Because I remember they go to Tyr first before they always, and these people are in Tyr and they interrogate Black Ajah sisters there. And it kind of makes sense because there's not really a whole lot of people watching over them. I get they have the Amerlin's directive here, but them as accepted in the White Tower doing the interrogation just feels a little like people are going to see that. Like that word could spread and that'd be right. That's weird. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
No one knows more than just their heart. But Leandrin, she found out.
Heart.
The Black Ajah. We work in groups of 3 called Hearts. Each sister only knows the identity of one other Black Ajah outside of her heart.
I don't buy it.
Either way, Joy already talked. So let's just kill her.
Is this how you want to be remembered, Amico? Or do you want to drop the act?
Leandrin is going to Tyr. She means to help one of the Forsaken take Calendar for himself.
Believe Amico. She pretended to be Yellow Ajah for years, telling her patients they were going to be fine. They all believed her. Right up until the end.
The good news is, you won't be bitching about losing his hand if he can't breathe.
She may be lying, but at least she's talking.
I'm really glad we got that line where it's like, they're probably lying, but at least they're talking. Because I was about to be like, that's too easy. It's too easy. And yeah, if you're a Black Ajah and you're captured, tell them stuff that's not true. Tell them lies. Maybe throw in one factoid buried in lies. Maybe they even have a backup plan traps for if someone gets captured that you send them there. It's not a good thing when they start talking. That's just the first part of a much harder puzzle, because Black Ajah, unlike regular Aes Sedai, can lie.
Leandrin's gone to find Mazrim Taim.
Oh, we're getting Taim.
How do we know you're telling the truth?
I was a member of the Grey Ajah before I joined the Black. My life's work was to read people. I believe you when you say you'll kill us.
Alice!
Whatever this shakiness is, show thing. Not judging it, just pointing it out. Elaida is a really interesting character in the books. Someone who you're meant to hate, Dolores Umbridge vibes, and represents kind of a lot of the flaws within the White Tower made into a character. And the inherent ideals with the White Tower being in such a strong position of power for so long that have inevitably become corrupted, right? If you sit on top of the mountain, eventually you will look down on everyone. And that's where the Aes Sedai kind of end up. There are still great Aes Sedai. There are obviously bad Aes Sedai. Elaida does not represent the bad in the Black Ajah sense, but the bad in just the very human sense. And I'm curious to see how that's going to be folded in.
How do we work out whether Joy or Amico is telling the truth about where Leandrin went?
I don't believe either of them. Perrin and the Aiel are too focused on Joy and Amico, but Leandrin's the key to this.
Oh, another Grey Man. Okay.
This is the place I was telling you about, where she was keeping her son.
He liked her.
I know she was trying to turn me into some weapon for the Shadow, but I think she was also trying to help me, and I know she loved her son.
She must have taken him with her then.
Under the bed?
What's that?
Therein said I. What?
Okay, so the Leandrin having a son like that thing, again, invention for the show, but Nynaeve and Elaine need another way to figure out where to go. They don't have the same thing they did in the books necessarily. So if we end up getting something that was invented in the show to get them back on track to be closer to the books, fine with that. Something painted on the floor seems like a really obvious sign someone should have cleaned up and needs to be justified as to why it's there. So I'm not saying that's where it's going to lead, but it's just one of those things where now as I'm doing the watch-along experience, I'm going, what?
What could have possibly brought you to these high chambers? A fire in the library? A sweet cake shortage in the kitchen?
And what brings you here?
I need to speak with the Aiel.
Oh, Mother's in her study.
Only a sitter in the Hall of the Tower has the right to request a private audience or a vote.
Liana, the putting a hand on the chest, big fan. Big fan of the, you stop right there. That was, I don't know. I just really like that. Elaida overstepping. Elaida, like that's who that character is. Someone who will like overstep a law, but also will turn around and tell people like, you can't do that. Like, that person.
Cross me now, and I will never forget it.
God, and there really are venomous people like that in the world where you can't back down because they'll just roll through you. Like that is their whole power and dynamic. But if you stand up to them, they'll remember that and they'll make your life hell. You cannot win with those people. They are real. We have all encountered them and they suck.
I brought gifts. Galena, sister, I seem to remember you having a taste for Andorra and wild strawberries. For the highest of the red Ajah.
Keep it, Elaida. It's too gaudy for me. Suits you much better.
You have no taste, a lousy sense of humor, and you smell.
This Elaida casting, it's not how I visualized Elaida at all, to be honest with that. But things like that soft purr where it's just like, oh, I'm going to make you pay for that. And it's just like the smallest slight, but it is a slight. Okay, cool. Weird question for my book fans I'd like discussed in the comments. Ageless faces are done away with, which I get, because like, how do you do an ageless face? In season 1, I thought because Rosamund Pike just looks great, thought maybe they'd be doing it, but as we've seen more Aes Sedai, no, there's all kinds of ages walking around, which I totally understand. It would balloon a budget to try and do whatever that would take. Wish it was there, but it's not. So should I then correlate age with seniority except that's not exactly how seniority works in the White Tower. They might get into this later, just a lore thing. Aes Sedai actually are like kind of shallow, and the more powerful you are with the power, typically the more like up top senior you're seen as. Though there's now like an age dynamic represented, and I wonder if that's going to be factored in at all, because it's just erased in the books because everyone's kind of ageless and you have these super elongated lives. So it just kind of comes down to, rah!
What do you want?
I don't want anything except to see the Reds return to our rightful place at the heart of this tower. The dragon is reborn, and he is a man. This is what we Reds have been prepared for centuries. That we called for a vote in the hall to send a group of 8 sisters to find Rand al'Thor and cage him. Swan locked you out of the hall. But that you didn't fight for the seats our Red sisters earned centuries ago with their blood and their lives, that falls squarely on you.
Decent setup there for a power struggle. Hope it's realized well. And as I was referencing, like, yeah, that's the kind of flawed view of the tower of like, there's a dragon, we should control them, versus the truth, which is like, the dragon's got to fulfill a destiny. And if you try and grab the reins, you're going to fuck it all up.
No, we were coming.
That's Wise One's business.
Who are these wise ones?
That is Wise One's business.
Thank you for clarifying that.
More blood has been spilled between clans over water than gold in the Threefold Lands.
Okay, so cool lore stuff about the Aiel. I want to get this right. I believe Robert Jordan was inspired by a mixture of Native American tribes, Middle Eastern cultures, and maybe a bit of his service in Vietnam, though I could be misremembering on that last one. I'm going to Google it. I don't want to say anything wrong. Zulu,
Bedouin,
Apache, and Japanese cultures. And so I kind of get why the show is like, let's not make them all just honkies, because they are in the books. And I feel like, especially in today's political climate, they get backlash for that. So that's a change. That being said, though, I think that's why you're hearing those calls and whistles, which are associated with Native American hunter parties and things along those lines. And you see a lot of it also represented in their clothing, their choice in weapons, and their battle tactics.
Tuathan.
Tuathan wouldn't hurt anyone.
Most of them didn't even run.
The only thing with less honor than refusing to defend yourself is killing someone who won't defend themselves.
Just get excited because there's really cool cultural play between the Aiel and the Tuathan. I didn't love how the Tuathan were handled in last season, or the first season, so I'm hoping to get some stronger rep in what's to come.
Look at the edge. This could have been done by a spear, made to look like a sword.
No Aiel would do this. The Shido might.
Who are the Shido?
Another Aiel clan. They have a blood feud with the Ta'adat. We need to bury them.
They are not worth the time, or the stones. It's their own fault they're dead, and if the Shido are near, even more reason to get to Rhuidean.
I'll bury the dead and meet you at Imre's stand.
Now she's beautiful.
Come. I know there's a trial for me there.
You know too much and too little.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I might not just know this. I thought you dig a bit of a hole and you put stones on top after you like put it over the body to like, you don't just put a bunch of stones on someone on the surface, do you? Visiting wife's grave.
I never imagined you a gardener.
It's a burial ground. My family. When each one was laid to rest, it was with an apple blossom seed in their hand.
Who does this tree belong to?
My wife, Elaida. I missed her burial. It hurts and comforts me to see how her tree has thrived in my absence.
Where I'm from, we mix our loved ones' ashes with clay and water and wear them on our face. Like second skin.
Okay.
We wear the grief until it seeps in.
Hardcore!
And will we find a new water now?
I've lost a few waters through the years. But what we three had was different. We balanced each other. Maxim and I were the fire. And everyone knew exactly how to douse the flame.
But at least you and Maxim have each other.
So you'd think. But when one half of a couple dies, the other one is left to grieve. When one of three departs, who owns that grief?
You share it. Okay, so huge changes from the books here, and I want to get into it because it's interesting. There is, again, spoiler for book if you're wanting to read it, but you're watching the show, so already most stuff is spoiled for you. His family is actually killed by someone. I've yet to see whether or not they're here while he's gone from the Two Rivers, and returning, he learns they're dead and grieves. And it's his love interest that I've mentioned that was already introduced that comforts him. And it's this big moment where he kind of was coming home and all he found was pain. And there's no comfort. The Trollocs are attacking. The White Cloaks are kind of taking control. And that's kind of a big changing turning point for Perrin's character. I don't know what they're going to do for Perrin in the show. He does not have really those kind of, that scene with Alana, obviously, because he doesn't have a wife. But in terms of representing warder grief, pretty accurate, though that Aes Sedai does lose a warder in the books, just in a different way.
One game of Maiden's Kiss, and you can go back to your squiggles. Unless you lose, then you'll be dead.
Why? Sorry. Leave Loyal be.
Perrin, out of sight. What is it?
We arrested Natty Cawthon and her girls.
Mat's mother.
Apparently Natty's husband helped the Abaras escape.
Who are you?
It's Perrin, the Aibara boy.
This is Lord Luke.
Oh, Lord Luke!
What? Exactly.
Love Lord Luke.
You're such a good guy.
So you're the one the White Cloaks are after.
Lord Luke's a hunter for the Horn. He and his party were passing through.
These motherfuckers right here.
That's Aiel. That's Aiel. That's Aiel. I was off by an episode.
Luckily for the Two Rivers, I've dealt with White Cloaks before.
Where did they take the Quathans?
Oh, don't worry, they're on.
The White Cloak camp on Watchil. Do you know these White Cloaks, Perrin and Aibara? Because they say they know you.
If you want to know where her husband took the Abaras, just let me ask.
Word will get to Perrin and he'll come to us.
There are faster ways to get to him.
We're not putting the people of the Two Rivers to the question. They've done nothing wrong.
Perrin Aibara aided a witch and murdered your father in cold blood. The land here must be so tainted to raise such poisonous fruit.
Sent to the Lord Captain Commander for reinforcements to deal with the Trollocs. If Perrin doesn't show up before then.
They're referencing Abaras, so some people in Perrin's family are alive, which also is true in the books. I didn't mean to make it sound like everybody died. He does find out he has some relatives.
Oh, lights. Can I get a lock installed, please?
Oh, yeah, I'll bring it up with management. Can we talk?
I told you I've got nothing to say to you.
Yeah, but maybe I have something left to say to you, you little prick. Isharmel was going to take away my visions. It was right there. The chance to be free of it. To be normal. And I chose you instead.
What, do you want me to say thank you?
I'm gonna say 100% on Matt's side right there. I'm sorry. You were making a deal with the devil, and because your deal didn't go through, you want me... No! This changed to men, man. And I want to get into why that's not working a little bit more. I'm sorry if I'm harping on something. It's just Min is one of my favorite characters in the books because she is one of the most even-keeled characters. Like, just not doing anything super crazy or wrong, is just a source of good advice. And yeah, has visions, so there's like an additional bonus to that. But they aren't, I can't remember them being like unreasonable about anything like this. And to me, this is like such an obvious argument where it's like, no, you don't get to blame me because your deal with the devil didn't go through. Yeah.
It's not just one symbol, it's two. To give completion to this life so their soul can find its way back sooner. One painted where they died, one where they were born.
Where's it from?
Tanchico. Maybe that's where Leandrin's from.
We wasted our time with Joy and Amiko. They were both lying.
What if everything they said was a lie? We should be looking at what they didn't say.
Is that a bracelet? Like the Shondran Soldoms used to control channelers, but older. And Leandrin's in Tanchico, looking for the matching collar.
Okay, that's all book related. Just stuff, slightly different setup. Totally forgot about the Gray Man. Just totally did not remember the Gray Man at all. Okay, yeah, he's here. That's a good job with the Gray Man. I forgot the Gray. Well done.
Elaida.
Gray.
Like the man who tried to kill me at the White Lion Inn.
I didn't throw him hard enough to kill.
He's been stabbed.
What in the name of the light happened here?
A grey man attacked us.
Dead. Dead as it's possible to be. And more.
What do you mean, more than dead?
Grey men are dark friends who've given their souls to the Shadow in return for their abilities. You can look right at them and hardly notice them.
Why did you come up here, Perrin, today?
These are the brown Ajah quarters. I could ask the same of you.
I think it was Elaine that sent that weave, so that wasn't a moment of naive casting. There is like a criticism to have of Gray Men. There's definitely a couple, I think, successful Gray Man assassinations in the books, but it's another one of those things where it's like, awesome idea, but kind of overpowered. And like the idea that like you could just walk up to someone and stab and like no guards would see. That's how they're propositioned. Thing is, that would just, again, like end it. That's one of the things that's kind of a problem in the books of Wheel of Time that like, you know, it's an issue in a lot of fantasy books where like if you actually practically use the magic, everyone would be dead like that. It's a similar thing in real world, right? Where like in a gunfight, they only usually last a couple of seconds. These like Hollywood shootouts that are going throughout like the Mr. and Mrs. Smith house don't actually happen as much. So I kind of just apply similar logic, but it's definitely there with the Gray Men, where in the books, and I assume it's going to be that way in the show, the Gray Men don't actually get to kill their targets. They just get to get really close.
Tanchico, tonight.
Tonight?
I don't care if it's a trap. It's safer than here.
What?
Did you not notice what she didn't mention, Elaine?
No.
She never wondered who stabbed him.
Tanchico, we are, just going past here. Tanchico is a thing in the books, and we're moving to it.
Today you become husband and wife. You become his. It's to hold.
Who are you?
What's your name, boy?
Jacques Lunault.
Lunault? You still here after all this time? You must be the great-grandson of the man I called husband.
Man who never bothered to bring me to an altar. Man who put our wedding bed in the dark, wet cell in the depths of this keep.
Until just before my 13th birthday, he found out there would soon be an addition to our wholesome little family. Another child.
Looks like you brought enough stuff to move in.
Yes.
Why don't you have a seat there?
Don't touch her. She's mine.
Oh well.
It's nice that we can all agree, even with the Black Ajah, on some things. Kill that guy. What'd you do to him? She call him out a
Don't hold back. No, come here. My friend can make all the scary thoughts go away.
She'll lose more than just her memories of today.
A return home is meant for one of two things. Remembrance or revenge. I think it's best not to remember a thing.
Credit. In a scene where the Black Ajah is butchering an entire wedding, the scariest thing is what Leandrin is saying to the child in the corner. This season's better.
It is many hundreds of years since your tower produced a Dreamwalker, Aes Sedai. A Dreamwalker. Almost anyone can touch Tel Aran. Very few can truly enter it. Of all the Tar that rise once, Malene and I are the only Dreamwalkers.
And you think I'm one too?
When we met in the dream, it felt as though you were running from something.
I keep dreaming about this woman who hurt me.
If she can hurt you, then this woman in your dream is alive. No. Soon you'll arrive in Meridian. After that, I'll teach you what I can to protect yourself.
All lines up. That's good Dreamwalking lore and is a roundabout way to set Egwene, if I had to guess, on the path to figure out that it's Landfear in her dream, not her Suldam, because she certainly knows that her Suldam is dead.
I don't know if I can untangle this for us. You were right to stay away from Calendar. I should have seen that. It was selfish of me.
Selfish? What do you want with Calendar? What aren't you telling me?
There's a way. I think I could escape my dark oaths. If the Dark One himself is destroyed, there's a Sa'angreal as strong as Calendar. For women, the Sakanen. I think if a man and woman used them together, they could...
Kill the Dark One? And what would it mean for you?
I shouldn't have said anything.
Textbook, great example of Landfear manipulation. It is truth woven in lies to manipulate towards a certain end goal. She knows Rand's heart extremely well and knows that he wants to see women, being the innocent young farm boy he is, as something to save. He wants to be their hero. And it's very easy to make Rand forget that this is Landfear, someone who has taken part in genocides. And yeah, he's a kid in the books, and it plays right into her hands. Even the fadeaway at that moment, just Landfear to a T.
Where does this road lead?
Why? To Avalon.
Of course it does.
What happened to your horse?
Also, I was wondering how they were going to handle sweat tints in the show, because there's a lot of nudity in the books because you're naked in the sweat tint. And the Aiel are much more about just like kind of freedom of the body. It's just the body. Get over it. We're adults, which is a kind of mentality I can respect. And it seems the show is going with the everyone's got towels and the camera is in a very specific angle method, which, yeah, all right, cool. If they're not going to go full nudity, then yeah, that's the way to do it. Oh no, there was a bare nipple there. All right, I guess we are doing it. Though there's some people who are like digitally blurred, so I guess it just depends on the actor. And honestly, I think that's great. If the actor's comfortable with it, fine. If not, don't. I didn't recognize that mark.
You haven't forgotten who you are.
Why do you have the golden crane of Markia on your back?
Oh, duh.
I was just a girl when the Blight took Markia. I ran and ran until a wise one found me. She took me as her own daughter. But I would break my spears today and follow you to the Blight and take back our city, our home.
This character's totally invented for the show, but it's to explain stuff that I don't think we've gotten for Lan so far. That's all accurate. He is the king of a kingdom that is taken by the Blight, and this is relevant for the story, so I'm glad they're folding it in. And it's not going against what we know of the Aiel to have this character, because there's another character we'll likely learn about in the future who is taken in by them in a similar way. The Aiel aren't monsters. They see a young person fleeing for their lives. They're, well, depending on the clan. I depending on the clan.
What about the White Cloaks? They won't leave us alone.
It's him they want. That's why they took Natty.
He's right. If I turn myself in, then the White Cloaks will return the Cothans.
You're no dark friend.
Well, he is something.
So are you, Sembu, and if you don't shut your mouth, I'll tell you what.
Look, if I turn myself in, then everyone can focus on the real problem. The Trollocs.
What if the White Cloaks leave once they have you? Then we won't even have our pride left when the Trollocs come for us.
Solid point.
You'll stay right here. The Two Rivers defends its own.
I know that's Fael. They haven't said it yet, but it matches the book, and that's Fael. There's no other person that could possibly be. And they look it. They look Fael.
What are you doing up here?
There's food downstairs.
If I have to eat another turnip, I pray to the light. I joke on it. Why won't you turn off the bond, Alana?
Oh, God. Duh. Sorry. Earlier when they said whose grief is it, it's because they're feeling each other's emotions. I took that a very different way. I'm sorry, y'all. No, yeah, they're magnifying each other's mourning because they're both feeling it and it's going, and Alana won't turn off the bond. Let's find out why. Oh, well, okay, it's on screen. Oh, man. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have stayed up this late to record this episode review. Ah!
I can feel that you feel nothing, Faivon.
I'm just trying to protect myself because I'm drowning in your grief. I wake up in the middle of the night and it's choking me.
It should be he's dead.
Exactly. And now we have to deal with it.
If we were dealing with it, we would be hunting down Leandrin and making her pay for what she did to him. Instead, we're here in the bloody 2 rivers. Why, Alana?
Okay, so they're going to give her a motivation for being here. I imagine that's different than the one in the books I talked about earlier. But also, what about her not feeling grief? That's really weird, and I don't know where that's going to go. I mean, earlier it sure sounded like she was, so she's shielding him from it? I don't know. Maybe it's something where she's like punishing herself by feeling his, but not somehow sharing her own. There's a lot of like nuance and minutia to the Warder bond that maybe the show will get into.
You know, I've never seen someone try to turn themselves in and fail.
Fair.
So you're with him?
Only by chance. I came here looking for the Horn of Valir. Heard of it? I see.
I'm familiar.
There's been much talk about you in your absence. Perrin, Aiel.
And very little of you. Don't even know your name.
I call myself Mandal.
I'm sorry, it's just my friend Lan, it's what he...
He what? It means blade in the old tongue. So choose your words carefully.
It's what he calls his horse.
All around me are familiar faces, worn out.
Straight out of the books. Only difference is it happens on a boat out of a town they meet Aiel in, and Perrin's able to point at Lan's horse and say, that horse's name is Mandarb. So, Mandarb, that's...
Perhaps you should try again to turn yourself in.
Min, is that you?
Ah, drop it, Matt. I came to this bloody tower to do some good with my visions, but this is just a different kind of carnival.
Stop! I'm sorry. I am, and I appreciate what you did. It's just I
disagree!
I've had kind of trouble lately.
I know. Maybe we can make some good out of these things we've been cursed with. Maybe that warrior who fought at Farm is still somewhere inside you.
Min, no, Min, stop. I told you when I met you, I don't want to know what shit is headed my way.
I'm sorry, miss. Is this man bothering you?
I can handle myself, thank you.
You're excellent.
Love that that's getting set up. Cool. Make them hate each other more. I mean, Galad and Mat. But also, interesting that we see that vision of Mat, because the way it's set now, it can't happen the way it did in the books. I feel like I'm being very redundant at this point. Sorry. So they're still going to go in that direction, though. Interesting.
Aren't you? Sturdy, very protective, very selfless of you. Thank the lights we have you here with us.
Oh, go to those training grounds, Mat. Go. No! God! Why? Why? Why would you show him going to the training grounds with Galad again and not give it to me? God!
The false dragon, Mazrum Taim, still evades us. It will take 7 women of your choosing to Zaldea to find him.
There's a snake in the den.
Who do you think will replace her?
Replace her?
As highest of the Red Ajah. Temporarily, of course. Zardea's on the other side of the world. Unless we can afford to lose a sitter for months. And be worth only 2 votes in the hall.
Tactful as a hammer.
Red Ajah is in need of a new sitter.
Wait, where are you going? Back to our farm. Oh, no. What about the Trollocs? How much warning? Trollocs see like cats in the dark. They'll be on top of you, kicking in the door before anyone can raise a shout.
Stop trying to frighten folks.
The Trollocs frighten me. They should frighten all of us. Oh, don't you remember what happened at Beltane?
Then what do we do?
Okay. Simple change. Not hard to explain at all. The way this happens in the books is Perrin is actually like out in hiding, and he ends up going from farm to farm and like telling people to come in. They're just kind of reversing this, and the farmers obviously come into the village for meetings or various times, whatever, and they're just having Perrin kind of do it all at once. Very sensical change from book to show to save time and screen. Despite the many changes I've complained about, a lot of the ones I'm seeing in this episode are just kind of like, yeah, that makes sense.
If there's 10 here or 20 there, then you're just game for Trolloc taking, or for White Cloaks. But if there are hundreds of us, together, then we have a chance. If we stay here, all of us, we have a chance.
That was a much worse version of the speech he gives in the books. And it wasn't a longer speech in the books. He kind of, just to say it, he points at a child. And he's like, you can't replace that, because people are like, oh, I can't replace my crops, or what happens if my farm gets burned down. He's like, oh, you can build that. You can't build a kid. So that's like a way better argument to like motivate people. And the way it's delivered is far more impassioned. Not an awesome change. This was literally him pointing out something so obvious that's like, yes. And I absolutely understand the justification still exists that he's Ta'viran, so he's going to be able to convince people to do what he wants because he's able to bend the pattern. That's not what I'm trying to criticize. I'm criticizing specifically the contents of the speech. We're nodding at that. Okay. Oh, it's happening. Oh.
Good to know we'll have at least one man ready when the trees finally launch their attack.
Although with form like that, I'd wager the trees would win. If you'd like, I can show you how to use a proper weapon.
Ah, you're all right. I don't know much about swords. I think I'll put my trust in a bow or a quarterstaff.
Mat.
It's happening. It's happening. Buckle your butts. There should be a crowd, though. That's an important part of it. Nynaeve just came in. Maybe a crowd's coming. Word's gonna spread. I need this to be the WWE SmackDown Raw event it deserves to be. Don't get him out. Don't take him out.
Been looking for you.
To fight these guys.
Oh, your search is complete.
I wanted to say goodbye.
Goodbye. Nynaeve, what are you talking about?
We think we know where Leandrin's gone.
Leandrin?
Just keep your voice down.
You are not going off to look for her without me. I mean, what am I supposed to do here? The Aes Sedai haven't got a bloody clue how to help me. I'm coming with you.
No.
I think the lady said she wanted to leave.
Mate, have a day off!
I don't need your help.
Step back, Matron.
He said step back.
It's here. It's here. I'm fine with it not having an audience. Just Nynaeve seeing is enough for me. Also, my guy, it like the overprotectiveness, little sexist. This is someone who can channel, and it's someone she used to babysit. I get Matt's being a little like, but the constant stepping in, the over chivalrousness is also an issue. It's going too far the other way. Treating women like dolls who can't even like, I don't know.
He said step back.
Or what?
Matt.
You're not going to take two of us with a stick.
2 marks, says I could. Each.
This is ridiculous.
You afraid?
Done then.
Gather the novices
Let us
accepted.
put an end to this farce after all.
Get some mortars in here.
Tavia Andy Setovias again.
Yes. Oh, that was good. It is time to toss the dice. It's beautiful.
Two marks. Each.
I'll give this execution of I still got like I liked it. Don't get me wrong. The execution of the potential 7 out of 10 should have been a crowd. Should have been a little longer, but I did like the choreography I saw. I like that he split him up. I like that we saw some serious pain and him not holding back. I missed some of the stakes from the book because, as I mentioned, I think in the last video, like Matt was still like drained at this point. So it's a 7. It was good. I was like, all right, cool. I got the scene. Some of my favorite elements were missing. I'm gonna watch it again though. We're all gonna watch it again. We're gonna do that. You have to accept that now. I do like this start. They're both attacking. That was a very swing. I just like watching Glad eat shit. I'm gonna be honest, a lot of what's elevating it for me is just Donald's performance. He's really selling me on the mat, kind of taking that. Yeah, like he is the one who's making it like I actually really enjoy seeing it. I love him as Matt.
Oh.
Yeah, Nynaeve being like, what?
Your people listened. They're staying. But I have a suspicion you won't.
Nobody's getting hurt. I'll make sure of it.
Is that a plan or a hope? You'll need both if you want to lead.
I don't. Wait. What's your real name? Please.
Aiel. It means falcon. So you see, Perrin and Aiel. Hunting's in my blood.
The plotline I am most worried about is Perrin's, especially because of the lack of Wolf Brother setup we've had, which is really crucial to this section working, especially with Lord Luke. So I'm kind of feeling shifty on this one. A lot of the others I've been super happy with, though.
Does someone want to tell me where we're actually going?
I didn't even tell my brothers we were leaving because we agreed not to tell anyone. We didn't want to chance another grey man following us.
Oh, Matt's leaving.
We're going to Tanchico.
Okay, now I'm liking the Mat confrontation a little bit less. It really feel like it should have been a spectacle for like the Tower because it was in the books, and it's about kind of, you know, these princes are getting all this hype and he publicly humiliates them. It's not just in front of Nynaeve, and it involves even a Master Warder after that, kind of giving like a story that I like, and we're losing a lot of that here. I still enjoyed it. It's just a little bit blunted. And now that I know he's leaving so soon after, it kind of feels like they went, oh, we need to do this iconic scene. Done.
We're going to Tanchico.
Tanchico's pretty rough. It's a good thing I'm coming. I mean, did your brothers mention what I can do with the staff? Now, Nynaeve, you know Tanchico's halfway.
You're right, it's a long trip.
Mid. Where he was born. All right.
From where you died to where you were born.
I don't hate it being a cultural reason the symbol exists, kind of tying back to my question before. It certainly can be picked at, but it's doing something for Leandrin's character. Nynaeve was like the only other person who knew about her having a son, and why would you think this accepted as being sent after her? So it's like, yeah, it's a dumb move, but at the same time, it's not as egregious as I originally thought. And as long as it's servicing wider other things, you do that as a writer.
You're right. It's similar to what the Shonchan used to collar women, but older. Much older. It must be why the Tower are keeping it hidden. And my weaves have no effect on it.
Because it's not created to control a woman. It's used to control a man.
A male Aiel.
And somewhere in this city is the matching collar. We're going to collar the Dragon Reborn himself.
Yeah, Best 3-episode run of the show so far, no doubt, and I'm excited to watch the next episode. Still liked episode 2 more than episode 3. Episode 2, in my opinion, was the strongest of the trio. The big thing is, I think if you're not a book fan and you're just picking up the show, I can't really put myself entirely in your shoes, but I imagine this has really been a step up in quality, and all of a sudden it's way more interesting. If this is your first introduction to Wheel of Time, suddenly it's like, oh yeah, this is pretty enticing. And I think it's a lot of the little touches they're doing that are really helping elevate it, aside from just the actual story feeling more cohesive and motivated early on in the season in terms of like establishing character motivations and direct conflicts, goals, which they were struggling with in earlier seasons. But by the little things, I mean like the fact that the magic system is having a lot more diversity to its output. Also, the sets have felt a little more immersive to me, are making this feel like a one step up from where we were that was one step up from where we started. And let's just keep that trajectory going. Elevating to good, it makes me really happy because, yeah, I'm seeing an interpretation of the Wheel of Time and I'm having fun with it. And that's where I'm sitting with this season. But if I had to do like an early season review for these first 3 episodes, I would give them a very strong 7 to 8, kind of fluctuating in between there, out of 10. But I will see you all back here next week for episode 4. Thank you so much. Like and subscribe if you have not already. Hit the Patreon if you want to support what I do here. And have a good one, y'all. Peace.